Movies that will teach you to appreciate life. We have already discussed movies that inspire us to see the beauty in life, but this selection is a masterpiece. Don't forget to save it. Everyone will find something of their own here. My name is Dan King and this is the Decay Now channel. It's going to be interesting and informative. Palm Springs. In the plot on November 9th, near Palm Springs, preparations are underway for a wedding. Niles, the boyfriend of one of the bridesmaids, is no rush to dress in tuxedo. In shorts and Hawaiian shirt, he jumps into the pool and spends the day relaxing and drinking, and in the evening gives a touching speech to the newlyweds. This particularly impresses Sarah, the bride's older sister, and she finds herself alone with Niles under the starry sky. But then events take an unexpected turn, and Sarah follows her new friend into a mysterious cave, only to wake up the next day and find that it's November 9th again. Through the repetition of this day, the characters begin to realize that they cannot change their past, but they can change their present and future. They begin to appreciate life and seek ways to overcome their personal problems and learn to live in the moment. Additionally, the characters begin to value their relationships and understand how they impact each other's lives. At some points you'll be laughing out loud, and at other times you'll be very sad. This film has the whole spectrum of emotions. As you may have already understood, the movie explores the themes of time, fate, and the significance of interpersonal relationships. Trust me, after watching Palm Springs, you will definitely learn to appreciate life, greedily devouring every moment of it. Palm Springs was released in the midst of the pandemic in 2020, and for many viewers, the film that appeared out of nowhere became the long-awaited breath of fresh air that managed to both relax us and make our brains work. Some people may like this movie more, some less, but what is definitely obvious is that this film will teach you to appreciate life, showing that even in the most difficult situations, we can find ways to change our lives for the better and enjoy the beauty that we have. In Time. This movie depicts a dystopian future where people's lives are measured in currency of time, and time is the main commodity and goal of life, quite literally. The wealthy can afford to live forever, while the poor struggle to earn enough time to live another day. The story takes place in the year 2169. The protagonist, Willie, rebel from ghetto, is unfairly accused of a murder committed for the purpose of stealing time and is now forced to go on the run, taken a hostage. This movie emphasizes the importance of living in the present moment and putting aside the past and future. The characters are constantly reminded of their mortality, which compels them to use their time as productively as possible. The message is clear: every moment is precious, and we should make the most of it. Another lesson from In Time is that we should pay attention to the specific people who are important to us, as the rest is just clutter. Our time doesn't belong only to us. It's also meant for sharing with others. If you haven't watched this movie before, be sure to do so. It's a worthwhile piece of work. The Bucket List. In this film, Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman play two terminally ill men who intend to fulfill their long-held dreams before it's too late. They decide to create a bucket list of things they want to do before they kick the bucket. Working on their list, they develop a deep friendship and learn to appreciate life in new ways. The bucket list they create serves as a reminder to them and to us that the life is so short and we must make the most of the time we have. Their shared experiences, from traveling to different countries to skydiving and racing cars, demonstrate the importance of living in the moment and enjoying life to the fullest. Interestingly, Jack Nicholson's own experience in the hospital shortly before filming inspired some of his dialogue and performance in the film. Life is short and unpredictable, and it makes sense to do everything we can to make it rich and memorable. Perhaps that's the main thing you will take away, and most importantly, fully feel while watching the movie. Dead Poets Society. The movie tells the story of an unusual literature teacher named John Keating who comes to a prestigious private college and changes the lives of his students forever. He teaches them not only to analyze poetry and literature, but also to think freely and creatively. Keating teaches students to find their own path in life, not to be afraid to take risks and to trust their intuitive feelings. The film also raises the theme of the confrontation between the old and new generations, in which students begin to understand that their opinions and ideas matter, and that they can change the world. One of the key elements of the movie is the search for truth, which is the basis of Keating's philosophy. He teaches students that life should be based on individuality and self-expression, not on accepted standards and expectations. Robin Williams was always good at drama, as it was obvious that there was an ocean of pain inside him, but in this movie, he really revealed that part of himself fully. Robin, by the way, agreed to play the lead role in Dead Poets Society precisely because John Keating was the kind of teacher the actor dreamed of in his school years. Robin Williams also considered this movie to be one of his best and most beloved films, and Peter Weir to be the best director he ever worked with. This film will definitely make it to your top list once you watch it for the first time. The essence of the story is largely in the last 30 minutes of the film. Parent-child relationships, conflicts between generations, the meaning of life, and what really matters in this life, all of this you will have a chance to reflect on, and I'm sure you will find answers to some of the questions for yourself. Just for the sake of the final scene, Dead Poets Society is worth watching, believe me. 100 things. German films shoot rarely, but when they do, they hit the target directly in the soul. This is the story of two friends who decide to conduct an experiment and live without their material possessions for 100 days. When the main characters decide to take a break from their regular lives to understand how much they depend on their things and whether they can live without them, it turns out that everything is not as they always imagined. In addition to references to Mark Zuckerberg and the lessons that AI can open our eyes to many things instead of enslaving us, there are simple but important unwritten truths here. Our main value is not in material things, but in simple things like communication with friends and family. Our dependence on material possessions limits our life and prevents us from appreciating and enjoying simple moments. We may all understand this, but to what extent? That's a big question. If you participated in such an experiment and could take one thing a day, be honest, on what day would you ask for your phone back? In any case, huge thanks to Florian David Fitz for this life lesson captured on film. Priceless movie. The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Walter Mitty is an employee of the illustration department at Life magazine. His job is a routine, although in his daydreams he escapes far away. When a negative for the magazine cover sent by photographer Sean O'Connell goes missing, the only chance to obtain the photo is to find Sean himself. Walter embarks on a long journey to find him. Ben Stiller's main directorial achievement, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, is one of the best movies that come to mind when talking about underappreciated gems that should be seen by more people. At the heart of the film is an infinitely important message about self-discovery and our own need to be perceived, which can be extremely instructive upon first viewing. This film is about how an ordinary person can change their life by simply following their dreams and desires. Life is full of adventures, opportunities, and meaning, and we must find the strength and determination to live the life we want, rather than merely exist. One of the wonderful lessons of this film is that sometimes we may think that we are nothing or no one, but others see us in a completely different light. The perfect solution is to be open to new opportunities and experiences, even if they seem a bit scary or unusual. Finding time for our dreams and desires to ensure that our life is not boring and monotonous is crucial. Want to find the energy and motivation for this? Watch The Secret Life of Walter Mitty in your leisure time. Good Will Hunting. Despite being the debut of Ben Affleck and Matt Damon as screenwriters, the classic drama Good Will Hunting is still considered one of the most thoughtful and life-affirming films ever made. It explores the purpose of our lives with such certainty and clarity that it's impossible not to be inspired by its optimistic philosophy. Will Hunting is a 20-year-old wunderkind from Boston who constantly gets into trouble. When he is arrested by the police for yet another fight, a math professor takes him under his wing, but with one condition. Will must undergo psychotherapy. The re-education sessions, which begin with distrust, gradually turn into a friendship between Will and his mentor. There are a number of life-changing lessons in the film. Firstly, the importance of education is beautifully revealed. The film shows how education can help us realize our potential and learn to see the world from new perspectives. Also at the forefront is the value of friendship, the necessity of overcoming one's fears and complexes, the importance of life experience, as well as the significance of self-improvement. A person can achieve a lot if they are willing to learn and grow, even without formal education. Overall, Good Will Hunting teaches us that life can be difficult and unpredictable, but if a person has faith in themselves, perseverance, and a desire to learn and grow, they can succeed in any area of life. This is one of the most important films ever made, which will certainly teach you to appreciate life at the very least. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. The idea for this film was suggested to director Michel Gondry by his friend, artist Pierre Bismuth, who proposed the following concept. You receive a postcard in the mail that says someone you know has just erased you from their memory. Shy and melancholic Joel lives an unremarkable and gloomy life, but one day, instead of taking his usual work route, he spontaneously hops on a train in the opposite direction and heads towards the beach. On the sandy shore, Joel notices a girl with bright blue hair. On the return journey,
journey, they meet in the train carriage and Joel realizes that he and Clementine have a lot in common, as if he already knows her. Soon, Joel will come to understand that they really were acquainted and even had a relationship. The mind-painting drama Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind offers one of the most effective explorations of love and relationships ever captured on film, and presents a range of insightful ideas that are sure to stay with audiences for years to come. If you delve a little deeper beyond the surface level of the film, the story will show you the importance of living in the present moment, the necessity of embracing your mistakes and flaws, and the need to take risks and make changes in your life. When it comes to finding true happiness, taking risks is justified. This is perhaps the most important lesson. Be sure to watch Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. You won't regret it. Little White Lies. This is an amazing French drama that tells the story of a group of friends who decide to spend their summer vacation together in the south of France. However, their seaside getaway turns into a test when each of them faces personal problems and difficulties that they have not shared with each other before. The film explores themes of friendship, love, infidelity, taking responsibility for one's actions, openness, and honesty. Each character has their own story and secrets that they try to hide from the others, but as they spend time together, their relationships begin to change, and whether they like it or not, in the end all the friends are forced to confront their problems. Friendship, love, infidelity, taking responsibility, openness, and honesty are all important themes that are very well developed here. But even more importantly, the film touches on what is truly important in life and what its essence is. Life can be short, and it is necessary to enjoy every moment and cherish every day that we have together with our loved ones and friends. The film Little White Lies will definitely inspire you with useful thoughts. Groundhog Day. Television commentator Phil Connors travels to a small town in Pennsylvania every year to cover the Groundhog Day celebrations, but this time the festivities may go too far. Time plays a cruel trick on him and simply stops. Now Phil is stuck on the same date, February 2nd, and cannot escape it. The indefatigable host tries to make the best of his comical situation. He has an abundance of time and a peaceful, predictable future ahead of him. Nothing bad will ever happen to him, and nothing good either. Phil's only cherished dream is a simple and uncomplicated one. February 3rd. Groundhog Day is a film about taking a bad situation and changing it for the better, not just for oneself, but for all those around you. Harold Ramis masterfully blends comedy and drama to create something entirely new and unlike any other film. The transformation of Phil's character from rude and snobbish to compassionate and friendly is truly inspiring, largely because of how he learns to embrace the challenges that comes his way, using them rather than complaining about the state in which they have left him. Although it is an old film and some scenes may not be as easy to watch as they once were, I highly recommend watching Groundhog Day if you haven't seen it for some reason. This film will definitely leave you feeling happy and make you think. Wild. Having lost all hope for happiness due to a failed marriage and her mother's death, Cheryl Strait sets out on a hike along the highest parts of the Sierra Nevada and Cascade mountain ranges. The trials and tribulations of this dangerous solo journey heal her emotional wounds, but the process is far from painless. There are many important life lessons in this movie. Firstly, it's a story about taking responsibility for your life. The main character, Cheryl, doesn't complain about her life, but takes responsibility for her mistakes and problems. This helps her move forward and achieve her goals. Overcoming hardships is a lesson you can learn from this movie, as well as learning how to build relationships by accepting people for who they are, and of course realizing the value of life. Finding your true path in life can only be done through adventure and experience, even if that means facing your fears and doubts. The Pursuit of Happyness. Watching this movie is quite an emotional experience. Chris Gardner is a man broken and downtrodden by the events happening around him. He's a single father doing his best to raise his 5-year-old son to be happy. Working as a salesman, he cannot afford to pay rent, and they are evicted from their apartment. Finding himself on the streets but unwilling to give up, he takes an unpaid internship at a brokerage firm, hoping to secure a position as a specialist. During the internship, he won't be paid any money, and it lasts for 6 months. The movie shows how he and his son continue to endure tough times using everything they have. Based on a true story, this film assures us that if we use our minds and talents, no matter how little we have, we will eventually succeed. Will Smith showcases all aspects of his talent here, playing a man who hides his pain behind a facade, so his son won't know what they are going through. He knows he's good with people and numbers, as well as solving the Rubik's Cube. We fall in love with Gardner during the movie precisely because he tries his hardest to financially financially support himself and his child, using only these three aforementioned skills, and we become even happier than he is when we see his smile. The Pursuit of Happiness is a very inspiring movie that instills in your mind hope and an understanding of the true meaning of life. It's a Wonderful Life, a true American classic. This film is the ultimate Christmas and New Year's movie in many countries for good reason. Often regarded as one of the greatest Christmas movies ever made, It's a Wonderful Life is a film that speaks to everyone on the planet because its message is universal. Have you ever wondered if your friends and family would be happier without you? The main character, George Bailey, is a man who sacrifices all of his dreams to help others, which brings him immense pain and sadness. He becomes suicidal because he feels like his life has no purpose. When he reaches the nearest bridge, sad and drunk, he is visited by his guardian angel Clarence, who shows him what the world would be like if he had never existed. The movie may seem very simple, but there is a reason why it has touched so many hearts. It's a Wonderful Life shows us that, simply put, we all matter. No matter how big or small the changes we make in this world, change is change, and ultimately it matters. Each person has value, and we need to recognize and appreciate that, because only then we can truly be happy.
Which of these movies did you like the most, and which one did I forget to include in this list? I'm waiting for your comments under this video right now. My name is Denking and this is the DK Now channel. See you soon. Bye.